Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is episode 3 of the Junk Jaw Resellers podcast. My name's James.
And I'm Ray. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for joining us. And you know what, guys? If you like this type of content, please leave a like, please follow, leave a comment, and just ask any question or you have anything to say. We'll get back to you. We'll respond to you within a day. But we would really appreciate it, especially if you support this reselling community.
Yep.
So thank you. So how was your week this week, Rick?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, I've been slacking this week. I don't. I'm having a hard time getting into the mood to do anything. I don't know why. It's just been one of those weeks. I did. I went to the flea market. I guess Sunday because it rained on Saturday, right? So
Yeah, it rained Saturday.
yeah. So I went Sunday, and I kind of went late. I think maybe 8:30 ish is late for us around here to go to flea market. But yeah, I went there, checked it out. I mean, there wasn't nearly as many vendors as usual. Definitely more than I thought was going to be there because it was still kind of, when I got there, it was still like a little cloudy out. It kind of looked like it wanted to rain, but I don't think it was in the forecast anymore. But I think it was like one of the first, it was the first stop that I even there that I found anything. And I get there and I just walk up to the table and there's this guy. I mean, well, actually, there's this other guy standing on the other side, and he he's looking at something else, and I just kind of walk. I'm like, wait a minute, I see a GameCube game, and I'm like, man, like what is this? Out in the wild, you don't see too many GameCube games just chilling there. And then I'm looking, and there's a bunch of PlayStation 2 games, some PSP games, which are hard, getting harder to find too. And so I start going through the pile. It's like two piles of them, and the guy that was looking at the other stuff, he kind of like quickly grabbed like a couple that were out of the pile that I just went through. Like I went through one stack, and then as soon as I was done that, he like quickly grabbed a couple that I just didn't pick out of the pile. And me and this guy, we were there for a while, like waiting 30 minutes. There was nobody at the stand.
What?
Yeah. It was like 30 minutes. And the funny thing is, I don't usually buy off this guy because I know they're usually a little higher in price. I think there's quite a few resellers there that don't particularly buy off him because he's a little higher in price. But I think the way the games were, like even some of them, so I walked around the table like 2 or 3 times because it was 30 minutes. And the way some of the games were, I found more kind of scattered around some other spots. He had DVDs out there. I found like probably at least 2 or 3 games mixed in with the DVDs. There was a new sealed Xbox 360 game. It wasn't anything crazy. It was like some kind of Disney trivia game, but it was new sealed. I was like, whatever, I'll take the chance on it. Didn't look at it really too much, but that was only on the other side. And the guy he wasn't there. Like me and the other guy, like that was trying to get buy the games. We're like, what the heck is going on? Like, where is he? And somebody else comes over, calls him up, and he's like, oh, I'm on my way. He's like, I'm like 5-10 minutes away or something like that. He gets there, and then I realize the truck had passed me when I first pulled in, and I was walking down that first aisle. He passed me, so he left. He was leaving as I was getting
You were coming there.
Yeah, so I waited there for 30 minutes. He comes up. I didn't want the price first, so thankfully he didn't come to me and give me the prices first. I mean, it wasn't a good outcome either way. I'll put it that way. But this guy had, I think, 3 PSP games. One of them was one of the Grand Theft Autos. I don't even know what the other 2 were. But he told them $10 a piece. $10 each. And I'm like, oh, great. And instantly when I heard that, because his customer, the buyer was like kind of arguing with him. He's like, what, like $10 each? Like he was thinking like $10 total
For all of them.
And yeah, and Yeah, once I heard that, and he comes over to me, I didn't think it could get any worse than that, but it did. He literally takes his phone and starts scanning all the games I
Oh man.
had. And like the first one he goes through, I think one of the first ones was that GameCube game, which was the Donkey Kong, the one that
Aeroblast?
I guess whatever one you need the drum set.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that one, he scans that and he's like, $15. And I'm like, I didn't even look them up. I should have just looked them up. I had all that time. I'm kind of one of these people. I don't like looking that up in front of people sometimes. And that's okay. I just don't want to. I don't know. I mean, I try to be polite, but once he pulled his phone out, I felt like it gave me permission to pull my phone out.
But it did. I mean,
Yeah,
tit for tat, right? I mean, it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you
So
want to charge me this, I have to know
yep.
what that is.
Dude, there was another Xbox. I don't even know what it was, and I didn't even bother looking up any other games. But the case was all cracked, like severely cracked and everything, to a point where it wouldn't even close or anything like that. And he's like, $30 for that one. I'm like, what? $30 for a game at the flea market that you didn't even probably know you had,
Unreal.
And
Yeah,
so
there's no
so at
way.
that point, I'm like, are you looking at the sold comps? Because at that point I pulled my phone out, I scanned the Donkey Kong game, and I'm like, are you looking at the sold comps or active comps? He literally says, I'm looking at the active. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't.
You gotta
You
look at the soul comps.
Yeah, I'm like, look, and I pull it up. I'm like, look, the Donkey Kong game sold for like $12, and you wanted 15 for it. He's like, just shrugs his shoulders.
But I turn around and
Yep.
buy
I'm
it.
like, whatever.
I
He's like,
wasted
he's
30
like,
minutes there for nothing.
he's like, you don't want it? I'm like, no. See ya. And then as soon as I went, the next aisle went down. There's the other guy that was trying to buy the other games. He comes up to me. He's like, did you buy any of them? Like, what do you want for what do you want to charge you and all that kind of stuff? And I'm like, I wasn't touching them. I heard him give you those prices. He's out of his mind. He's high every week, apparently. Like, I've heard things from other resellers. I mean, I don't even, I don't like going, once I hear things, and I think I tried to buy a couple things a couple years ago off of them. Once a dealer is kind of known to me that their prices are higher, I don't even really give them a chance. I just walk by their table. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess because I just instantly seen the video games, I was like, well, I'll just give it a shot. And he wasn't around, and I kept finding more just scattered around. I'm like, well, he might not just think he has anything, or I didn't even know if I had anything necessarily because I didn't even look them up. I'm not that versatile where I know, I guarantee you all the games I had in my stack, you would have already came with the price in your mind, which you would have paid.
Yeah.
I
Well,
didn't.
yeah, Jungle Beat, or you probably had Jungle Beat. That Donkey Kong Jungle Beat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
I mean, I thought because it's a GameCube game. You know what I mean? That's in my mind. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Between
Not all
that,
GameCube games are like that.
yeah, but they're getting harder to find. It doesn't mean he could have charged me $2, or something like that. I had no clue. I'm just thinking GameCube games in general, they sell pretty quick.
Well, you don't mind taking a chance on games for $2-3
Yeah,
or something.
I mean, I would have probably even paid $5 for that one just because it's GameCube.
Yeah.
Kind of some of the same factor, a little bit, maybe probably a little bit less because I know PSP isn't as in high demand, but it is getting harder to find when I see PSP games.
There are some decent PSP games, like if you were talking about Grand Theft Auto, you got Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars on
Okay.
PSP. That's worth paying $10
I
a
think
piece.
this one was like the Liberty City or something.
Liberty City Stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's probably worth $10 too.
Yeah.
You know, well, to resell
Yeah. Well,
or somebody collects, it's
exactly.
it's $10. It's worth $10.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, it's it definitely was not a pleasant stop. I mean, I found a couple other things at the flea market this week, but nothing crazy. I thought I was like, when you see video games, you're like the whole light, the whole like
Yeah.
dramatic music and everything drops.
Uh,
Yeah, yes, I couldn't think of it, but yeah, that's what kind of happened, and then no, it quickly stopped.
well, this week I got a pretty good score on He-Man. Uh,
Oh yeah,
yeah, probably I don't know, maybe 150 different He-Men.
Eef.
Uh, one score. I'm going to do. I'm starting my own YouTube channel, but I give you a quick preview of. There's one of them that I found, and
Oh wow.
that's a Scaraglow, and I
Yeah,
got maybe two or three of him, and then there's a lot of uncommon stuff, lots of uncommon He-Men, but
that's
bags full
cool.
of them. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And that, what kind of score was that? Was that like it's just a buyout from somebody contacted you, or is it?
Yeah, yeah, it was a Facebook uh, marketplace deal.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. See,
so um, that was a pretty good one. I mean, that's you got stuff like this. How many people ever seen that? That's a He-Man.
bring him down a little bit. Oh, I thought it was Kermit the Frog.
Yeah.
Like head on it or something. At first, I couldn't see
Like then
what
you
that
got like
looked like.
people like this, like a mosquito guy, and
Oh
he's
wow.
got blood in the middle. You press the button in behind him, and blood starts squirting
Oh
out.
wow. That's cool. I think I've seen that one before.
And how about
Yeah.
like this?
I
He's
think
a
I
He-Man.
I had him before.
Yeah, there's like three
Yeah.
or four of him in that lot.
Yeah. I definitely I had him before, and that's how I think that's really the only decent He-Man I've ever picked up,
Yeah,
and I that's what kind of put the He-Man figures on the radar for me a little bit. Is that I just bought like a bin of toys, and that I think that figure was in there.
yeah. There's
So,
through that whole lot there's a lot of $20 figures, a lot of $30
mm.
figures, a lot of $40 figures.
And they're all
There's some,
older.
yeah, they're all from the early '80s.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
there's
cool.
there's some $70 figures in there, but it's like I said, over 100 figures, maybe
Yeah,
150,
yeah.
and I got it for a real good deal, $80.
Wow,
Yep.
that's pretty good. I mean, that's the kind of deals I like when you can get maybe one or two items that pays for a whole deal. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. They might think that we're kind of lowballing them, or if I mean, those are the deals we like because at the end of the day, it's still going to take time and effort, work to put in to take the pictures, list it, ship it, maybe deal with a possible return because that
Yep.
happens. All kinds of things. It could go missing in the mail. Like who pays for it? Well, actually, now that everything is because with ground advantage, it's a little bit different now. But when it was like first class, you're out of luck unless you bought insurance.
Yeah, you're out
You
of
know.
luck.
Yep.
Yeah, Ground Advantage covers $100 now.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. A lot of people don't know that now. We're actually pretty lucky, even though we're paying a little bit more. Overall, I think in the shipping prices compared to what we used to, at least everything is covered up to $100. I have one order on Macari right now that I shipped out. I don't know. It had to be. I think it might have been. It was like maybe the first week of this month, and or something like that, and it hasn't been scanned since the 11th. And I put in a missing mail like case as soon as I noticed it's been like I think maybe like 7 to 10 days or something like that. Once I noticed it didn't have a scan, and it nothing's happened. And the
Okay.
crazy thing is, it's our local post office. We both go to that same
Hmm.
local post office a lot of times, and it says it was there, and then that's it. There's nothing else after that. So the good thing is that it was scanned. At least it was scanned in, but I don't like not having any info what's going on. And then I tried contacting Macari See, I didn't contact the buyer, so a lot of people, I don't know if they would do this or not, but my first thought was I don't want to contact the buyer. I don't want to let them know, especially with Macari, because sometimes it flip flops on the way they handle things. If I contacted the buyer, then I was going to notify them that, hey, your order is missing. You know, it's MIA. Don't know what's going on, and then they can probably contact Macari and just instantly get their money back
Yeah, just
without me
instantly.
even fighting it and trying to. Well, I already put in some effort to open the search case. Um, I don't. I was never going to contact the buyer. I was going to wait for him to contact me, which he did yesterday. But at that point, I had already even contacted Macari. I'm like, hey, what's the next step? Because this is already taking a while. And Macari was just like beating around the bush, couldn't answer my questions. I'm like, what's the next step? Like, do I still get paid? Because usually I can collect from insurance uh, from USPS if it's not delivered or if it's never found. Like, what is the next step in this process? Do you refund the buyer and give me my money? Because sometimes, like, you should, as long as you print the label through Macari, you should be covered. But I've never had this happen on Macari. I've had it happen like a similar experience on eBay. So I wasn't sure, but they're just beating around the bush. They won't tell me if I'm getting paid, and I
Man,
don't like that. And I've had it. I've had to message them several times, and they won't tell me. And they said, "Well, contact us on the 23rd if there's no update, and we'll revisit the situation and look for a resolution." I'm like, and that was the only they did that yesterday. They told me that yesterday, so they could have just told me right away. It was the day in between. It was the day before. It was literally yesterday, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm still waiting for an answer.
I hate when that packages. I don't know if you guys know we're in Dundalk, Maryland,
Yeah,
and
right outside of Baltimore.
a few years ago, the my brother showed me a little post in the newspaper about we were the number one or number two worst post office in the United States of America.
Yeah,
The one we go to.
yeah,
So yeah, there's always some types of
yeah,
problems.
yeah. I mean, you and me both have had experience there, which haven't been pleasant. Well, I'm gonna leave it at that because, I mean, at
Yeah,
the end of the day, I want to try to be nice because they do a lot of the front work for our businesses, our eBay, and without them we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
yeah. I mean, right, but there's there's
I
there's
Yeah,
still problems.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I'm always afraid sometimes to say stuff because I don't want people to retaliate. You don't know what's going by. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe did I say something and they're like, I know this guy. I'm gonna take his package and chuck it in the trash.
It's going right in the trash can.
Yeah, right in that dumpster.
Yep. Yeah,
Something.
that's the getting. I'll teach his ass.
Yeah, yeah. It's a shame. I mean, it wasn't a big order. It was $10. I mean, it was for some Marvel cards. I've been selling a lot of them. So
Yeah.
somebody did a bundle on Macari, and they ordered a bunch of Marvel cards for $10. So, yeah, it is what it is.
But sometimes it's not about it's not about the money. A
No,
lot of times it's about just going through the hassle or making sure that buyer's taken care of, and then I'd rather give you you know make sure you get the product and then just
yeah,
give you your money back just to make sure I get great feedback or
yep,
something. So
yeah, true. So you got anything going on this weekend? Anything coming up?
no, we Saturday flea market.
Yeah,
Set up a
finally
flea
some
market.
nice weather, right? Is
Yeah,
it?
finally some nice weather. Last weekend it was rainy. I
Yeah.
picked up a load of stuff. What was it? Well, I wanted my day got mixed over to Thursday, so I had to pick up on
Okay.
Thursday. I got some skill saws that table saws and a bunch of different things. I haven't opened any of the boxes. I don't know, so it's going to be a surprise to
Yeah.
me. Just
Mystery
like it's going to
box.
be a mystery box. It's like going to be a surprise for everybody else. That's kind of how it works. Like these last patch loads, what I do is I go to Walmart and I pick up loads they have. They do returns or whatever, and I wind up getting them from them. and I just load my truck up, and then on Saturdays I take it right to the flea market. And sometimes if I don't go through the boxes, it's mystery. I don't know what it
Mm-hmm.
is.
I know how many times I see it at the flea market and you're like, wait a minute, that's like really good. I want to keep that for eBay.
Yeah, like you keep it for eBay. Yeah, because it's a lot better. Because if you have things like, all right, take for instance, I got something sitting over there. It's a bird house with a camera in it, and it sells for around $150 on eBay. You take it to the flea market, you're not going to get anywhere near that amount for that product. They might want to pay $50, and by the time I put it on there, sell it, and take away the fees, I could walk away with $120,
Mm-hmm.
$125. So it's
Yeah.
just better off doing it that way.
It is weird sometimes how the market is just so different. A lot of people don't quite understand that. I mean, every setting, like setting of where you're selling your item is different. Um, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it could be anything. It could be whether you're selling to flea market, you're selling online. If you have an actual, set location like a store, even your location might not be good for the area. If you're selling in a lower income area, high dollar like Coach, Gucci, whatever, that type of stuff, you're
Right.
not going to sell much of it. It's just that simple. But it's all about being in the right place and having, in the right time. Because I mean,
Yeah.
there's even certain things that are going to sell not set time because there's going to be certain things that you sell are going to be better at certain times of the year. Like,
That's right.
I mean, I generally still list it just because I want to have it up. That way it's there for that time of the year. And sometimes it does sell. But, I mean, everybody knows that Christmas stuff, like seasonal stuff, like any Christmas, Halloween, you want to sell them around their actual holidays. Um, or like a bathing suit, you don't want to sell it in the middle of winter. But some people go on vacation, and they need a bathing suit, and stores aren't carrying them around that time. So
Yeah.
it can be good to have that stuff available
Yeah,
online.
because bathing suits come off right now,
Yeah.
and they get ready for the next season. So, and on reality, what's getting ready to come up is Halloween. So
Mm-hmm.
you really want to start selling Halloween
Mm-hmm.
around the first week of September, or to get it listed. And actually, another thing you guys would be thinking about: fourth quarter's coming up
Mm-hmm.
on eBay and all your other platforms. Getting prepared for that, like
And
right now.
yeah, everybody knows what the biggest thing in fourth quarter is toys. It's always been
Yeah.
toys. It will always forever be toys. I mean, it's focused, the holiday focus around making, you want to make kids happy and get the enjoyment. Parents love seeing them give their kids a Christmas gift early Christmas morning under a tree. And, it's what's going to make kids happy. That's what you want to think about.
Yeah, you're right. I tell you, last fourth quarter, I listed a lot up to, I'd say, maybe the beginning of November, and then I just let it roll through, and I didn't list a whole lot. And I wish I did, because I put a mark on myself, and it took a little time to get back up to start selling.
Yeah.
Like I'll never. I'm gonna go say I never. Let me knock on wood on that one. But like I said, I used to, when I first started selling, I used to sell a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
And last year was okay. It was an okay year. And then I just said I'm going to start selling through everything, and then kind of start fresh new in January. And then it was like never happened. It was like, okay, and now I'm only selling a couple things a day, and it's like I got to get back to that.
Yeah. Yeah, consistency is key. I mean, right now I feel like I'm kind of in a slump this week, even a little bit last week. I don't know. I I can't find a motivation. I used to get up at 5 a.m. almost no problem and come downstairs like with my cup of coffee and almost I feel like jumped right in. But um, I, this week has been brutal. I'm like sleeping until like 7 or 8 o'clock. What or
Getting lazy.
yeah,
No.
really, I that is the definition of lazy. It's not just sleeping in. Like I'm. You can ask my wife. I'm totally against sleeping in, but and even 8 o'clock, 7 or 8 o'clock still isn't really sleeping in, but it is for me.
Yeah.
We'll put it that
For
way.
you, right?
You know, it definitely is. I mean, I think when I was in high school, maybe 10 a.m. or noon was sleeping in. But
Wow.
now it's, if I'm not up by 7 or 8, that's sleeping in for me, because
Yeah.
I feel like I lose so much productivity if I'm not up early. But
But I mean, my thing, I don't mind. Yeah, I can get up early, get started. It just seems like I have other things to take care of than my business,
mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
I have to
yeah,
push all that to learn to push all that to the side. I really need to. But then I got load. I got to pick up a load for make sure Saturday goes on better,
mm-hmm.
or someone needs help doing something here, or
Yeah,
I need to do this here, and it's always my prime time because I don't like to work after 5 o'clock when 5 o'clock hits. My wife's home. I don't do anything else. I don't. I
yeah.
just won't. But but it always
Well,
catches me in the middle.
I mean, it's like one of those things, yeah, because when your wife's home, you want to spend time with her, or just have that, you have that set schedule, like where it's designated for like family time or just other stuff that's not work. Like it's just general,
Right.
like that. Like even the days my wife has off, I generally try to not really work too much. I mean, I might at least get the orders out that need to be shipped out, but I really most of the time don't do anything. And I mean, there's been times where I do work. I just don't feel like, not saying I don't feel like hanging out with my wife, but I know I got crap to do. Like if I slacked off earlier in the week or last week, I'm like, I need to work double today. So, but
Mm,
the thing is, I mean, you're right. Like there's a lot of things just in life that happen during the day that get in the way or kind of put you off track.
yeah. Well, especially we're full time reseller. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
This is our job, and it hurts being you're around. You know, your home is your job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just easier for us to take care of it. Since we're home or
Yeah.
we're around that than it is like if we worked a full time job out of the house and then
Mm-hmm.
I sit back and think like how did I do it when I worked a full time job somewhere else and had to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't stop where I was at to go handle whatever I needed to take care of. And it just feels like it feels a little off. I need to just, for myself at least, separate all that.
Mm-hmm. It is, it's difficult. I I'm in charge of, I feel like I throw most of the loads of laundry in. I cook all the meals. I'm in charge of cooking.
Yeah.
Like, if I got to cut the grass, and since I cook, I mean, I'll try to keep up a little bit in the kitchen. Now the deal is, because I cook, my wife does the dishes. So, and sometimes I do a lot of cooking to the point where there's loads and loads of dishes in there, and she is not very happy. And so it causes her, because she's got such a long drive to and from work right now that it can be like about an hour each way, that takes up so much time, so she doesn't even really want to do the dishes when she gets home. And that can affect where the I think the productivity of doing the dishes, like I guess, like she'll do the dishes, but then she'll take the old ones that were on the drying rack, and she'll put them on the counter, but then it's right where I need to prep the veggies,
Right.
and I'm like, I gotta do more stuff every time I'm trying to do stuff. Like, nothing, I get it. She had a long day, 2 hours taken out of your day. That's one thing I'm thankful that I don't have anymore. I don't have even when I was working retail, even if it was a half hour drive to my work, I mean, that
Yeah.
adds up to an hour a day,
Yeah.
if you're doing a half hour each way. There's so much time saved. So I'm thankful that I don't have a drive to work anymore. But it can definitely be exhausting and take a lot of time out.
Oh yeah, 100%. It could. I don't. I hate the drive to and fro. I just can't. I can't stand it myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So I'm lucky. I'll go with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
Yep. Yeah. So I was doing a search on Google earlier, and well, actually, not on Google. I was looking on eBay, and I don't know why. I just kind of came across this. And have you noticed like anything about like some of the listings on eBay? If like how much people are using AI in their listings? Like I'm not saying the actual description, but you're going to be surprised by this. All right. So somebody left a negative feedback. Well, there's multiple negative feedbacks on this person's account, and their spelling was called a blue sunflower. Okay, and it says here's one of the feedbacks: it didn't get here as promised. They had to reship. Plus, I researched blue sunflower. Blue sunflowers don't exist in nature. So they're literally selling seeds because this company really, it looks like they mainly try to sell seeds for your garden and all, and they're selling fake blue sunflower seeds that don't exist, but their picture will show a blue sunflower. And if you
Wow.
Google blue sunflower, it definitely does not exist.
What?
Yes. So this person, here's another one, never received seeds. After further research, there are no blue sunflowers. This seller blames the USPS for non-delivery. Ordered other seeds from different seller and had no problem receiving them. And it's the same thing. It's more blue sunflowers and stuff like that that were in their purchase. This seller has a whopping 24 nags in the past 12 months. 24 for selling products that don't even exist.
Don't even exist.
Like, why would even anybody waste their time on? So I wonder. It makes me think: was their plan to actually give them seeds? Maybe they aren't using tracking because seeds, a lot of people put on like I think just a regular envelope. But I wonder if they're literally giving them actual sunflower seeds, but they're not gonna. They'll just say, "Oh, well, they were faulty," because this can be months later until they bloom.
Yeah, until you even figure out if it's what it is.
Whoops, something fell. Whoops. But
And then you can't leave a negative feedback afterwards.
yeah, definitely. So I think that's kind of crazy to me. That I mean, how much product you have to sell to be able to still sell on eBay and have 24 nags?
24 negatives.
I mean,
That's crazy. Yeah, that makes you think. Like, wow.
that's a lot. I mean,
Yeah,
I get upset just after if I had one.
me too. Like, I have one. It's like, no way. What? I
Yeah.
like. It gets me is there's a guy who left a neutral,
Mm-hmm.
and the neutral feedback, all it said was all good. Why is that a neutral?
Well, at least you haven't had. I had somebody on Poshmark, I think, leave 1 star, and they're like, "It's okay. I leave 1 star for everybody."
Wow, what?
Like, how is that okay?
That's not okay. Dude, you're just an ass when that happens. Oh, good. Like what? 1 star. I leave 1 star for everybody.
Yep.
Man, that's ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah. That's. I don't even know what to say to that. I didn't even know how to. I was just so mad. I didn't even know how. Like, I can't remember. I even responded, but I wanted to, but I have no idea what I said. It was a while ago. I don't know why somebody would do that.
Yeah,
But
that's crazy. I just do that just to do that. No.
mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so I had also in Depop, I had this. I don't know. I guess because the younger generation on there a lot. I I see so many. First of all, I'm gonna say I see so many usernames on there that would never be allowed on eBay or Mercari or anything like that. But Depop somehow allows it. Like they're allowed to have cuss words and stuff in their.
In the username.
Yeah, so we'll put it that way. This person did have a cuss word in their username. I didn't report that, but I did try to report the Depop that they were doing something else. So he messaged me, and this is how it starts. He says, "Gang, why is shipping $11? Gang, gang, what is that? What is this slang, gang?" Like, and I just I just reply shipping is based off weight. Once boxed up, it weighs over a pound. And like Depop sets those prices, all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I don't have control over that. It's
Right.
weighed, it's calculated, and he's like, you can change it? Question mark. $11 is as much of a pair of jeans, and that doesn't weigh that much, dog.
That
Like, what is this? So,
better watch out. He could come and hit you up.
so I replied. I was like, so you were telling me I should commit mail fraud and lie about the weight? And he's like, that's not fraud. Putting put a higher weight charges more money. If you don't get anything from it, then there's no difference changing the price. He's like, I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm saying I just checked and 1 pound weighs the same size as jeans. And so to clarify, on Depop, and I don't know why they do this, they'll have the weights, but then they'll say like they'll have lists of items that usually fit in that category of weight. And I don't like that because I don't think it's completely accurate all the time. I mean, some jeans or some shirts or some piece of clothing are just going to be different weights. Other items aren't even included in that. Obviously, they can't cover all the items. So it should strictly just go by weight. But then you get people that are like, oh, and to clarify too, because I never even said what item it was. It's a Wolverine action figure, but it's one of the taller ones. I think he's like around 12 inches or higher. I think he's a little taller, but and he's still in the box and everything. So it literally weighs 1 pound, 1 ounce. So it literally just goes over. And I tried to cut it down. And everything. It's because it's in a box too. You know what I mean? I can't. It's brand new in a box.
Nothing you can do about it, right?
Yep. But he's just upset because he's like, I'm pretty sure that plastic toy is not the same weight as jeans. And then I'm like, you do realize jeans get shipped in bags, toys get shipped in boxes.
Right,
And
they do.
and like the bags don't hardly weigh anything. The boxes. Some boxes. They could be 8 ounces. That's they're almost sometimes the same weight as the item.
Sure, no, absolutely. They could be.
Yep.
They could be a double walled box. It's
Yep.
going to weigh more. It's.
So I went on this whole thing because I don't know why I was not in the mood. I went on this whole thing. I'm not even going to go through it all word for word because I kept arguing with him. And so it got to the point that he said, he was basically saying that it's no, I should change the weight to a lower weight. He's like, everybody does it. And then he's like, I do it all the time, kind of thing. And so he wants me to ship it at like whatever under a pound when it weighs over a pound. And I'm like, you can't do that. Who do you think pays for it? That's mail fraud type thing. Like it just is. Like if you're gonna lie, that blatantly, like I could ship it out and just like, well, at least on eBay, I know this is this way. If you don't have the correct weight, like that, eBay is going to eventually charge you for the label because USPS is going to notify them. And I've had that happen sometimes,
Yeah.
and it just happens. Like, and it's sometimes it is bullcrap. It's not.
That's right. It is.
It just is what it is. And you can try to fight it, but I'm not going to purposely do that. And this guy really wanted me to do that so bad, and I tried to just say he's just been lucky because he hasn't had any issues or anything like that. And we went on for like all day, and then he said gang again. He's like, well, gang, it's just you. It's not that I'm lucky. You literally put the weight in yourself. I'm like, yeah, because I do it accurately. I don't get in trouble. You get in trouble.
Right.
You can get in trouble. But anyway, I reported him. Whether I don't care if he's listening or not. He can if he ends up viewing this, I don't care because I want to educate everybody that please do not ship the items at a wrong weight like that. Like if it's do not mark it as underweight than what it actually is because you are going to eventually get caught. you're eventually going to get, charged or something like that, and it's just not worth it. Just, and he was just thinking that it's going to help his item sell quicker, which it probably will, but there's going to be times where maybe it's not even going to get there on time. It might delay the order. It's just not worth it. But anyway, Depop hasn't done anything. They don't care.
I've heard of cases. Where the seller would undercut the weight, and then when they reweighed it again after they do all the scans, then they took it to the customer, and the customer had to pay the gap between the actual weight and the weight they put in the system.
Yep. Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't want to do that to your customer.
No. I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, somebody, if it's caught, somebody's paying something because it's not just going to move any forward. I mean, you're delaying your customer's order. You're sometimes, especially on like Depop, Macari, and Poshmark, you don't get paid till it gets delivered anyway.
Yep.
So you putting in the wrong weight is delaying your payment. Why would you want to delay your own payment?
Yeah, be smart.
Yeah,
and it's only and most of the times, if you're just trying to do it, you're talking about ounces here. I mean, sometimes the difference between 1 pound.
Yeah.
Once it goes up, once you have it 15 ounces and it's a pound, especially on what the price we pay from eBay, from a pound to 2 pounds, it's, I think, the same thing as if it was 15 ounces.
No, a pound and 15 ounces is no longer the same.
Or they're no longer the same. Okay.
Yeah, they used to be, but now
it's not much. It's not. I don't think it's off by that much, but it's not worth.
It can be like $1.
Yeah, well,
I mean that's big enough for me because if I
weigh your items and give the right shipping.
I mean,
I've never had a shipping issue. With how much I charge a buyer and how much it went out the door for, and I give them all my buyers, I give them a flat rate shipping fee, and I never weigh my items unless it's heavy and I really can't tell.
So. See, yeah, I'll always do calculate just because I think the shipping prices keep changing so much. Like they change once or twice a year. I don't have time to sit there and bulk edit to adjust all my shipping prices with how many items I have in my store. I just don't have the time to sit there and do that. It's way too much. I'd rather just and I don't get me wrong. I know I've heard a lot of things. I know, and I've seen it myself. Calculated can be incorrect. A lot of time, not all the time, but sometimes it's going to be incorrect, and I probably do lose some sales from that. But it's either way, I'm going to be losing something.
Yeah.
I'm going to be losing money either way. At least, I guess if I was going to sell it, I don't know. If I'm gonna sell it, dang it, what would I do? I was just thinking something. Oh my gosh.
That's all right.
There, and I just blank out.
I would just, I'll use calculated only on heavy items.
Yeah,
that I need.
I think that's where I mean, that's what I'm afraid of. I think that's where I was kind of trying to go with it. Is that I would, if I were to do flat, I want to do it on heavy. Well, I don't want to do it on heavy items, but I don't know. It's just, I just feel like it's just too much involved between the states, like like between what location it's going to. I mean, and the dimensions. I mean, a lot of people probably don't know, but I mean, I've shipped out some very large items, and again, I know I'm saying you would never do a flat rate on a larger item, but I mean, it can come down to where even the dimensions is, if it's an inch, I had something like go up like it was $20-$30 in difference because of 1 inch. It's not.
I was getting ready to say that.
So it's scary.
I shipped out a boom box last week or the week before last, and I put in the dimensions of how I wanted to ship it, and and when I sold it, it was sold as that dimension, that weight. Well, when I put it in the box was like 1 inch above what it was, and I put the thing in. I was like, oh wow, it's $59 to ship this thing,
Mm.
calculated shipping, and I had to go back and take a look at it because the buyer only paid, I think it was $21 in shipping, and it really, and when you put it in, they always give you a little extra more on calculated shipping. So it was 1 inch off the length. I think it was 23 inches in length, and it was supposed to be 22 or something like that. And it went from $16 to $57.
Wow.
That's how much of a difference it was. So I had to cut the box down and make sure it fit in that dimension
Yeah.
instead of having an inch over.
I mean, it's crazy like that. That it's a battle of inches sometimes, and I hate that because I've there's been times where I've done that where I've packed up the whole entire order. It's literally taped up. I'm almost done. I just need to print the label, and then I got to cut some of it down because that inch. I mean, it's just what the because I got some more of them over here, but that Britney Spears stand up, the little Pepsi Britney Spears stand up cardboard
Yeah,
cutout.
yeah.
That's one of the things. It was 1 inch, literally 1 inch. It made the difference, and I mean I don't know. It shouldn't be that much of a difference. That's scary. Actually, it might even, I think it wasn't even $20. It was something like ridiculous. I posted about it before. I have to go back and look, but now it makes me want to check. I can check on my phone. I made an Instagram post.
Yeah, no, those inches make a difference. Just 1 inch from one thing to the next makes a huge difference.
Yep, it
It
does.
does.
It's it just shouldn't. It's like almost like highway robbery. I mean, why is it? It's it's like going to it's like going to like a steakhouse and ordering a steak, and then you're like, oh, we gave you the wrong cut,
Yeah,
and we're gonna still charge you for it or something. You know what
yeah.
I
It's
mean?
like, man, but it amazes me just an inch. I could charge extra $30.
Yeah,
I'm like, that just is, man.
I'm pretty sure it was more. I'm gonna look
What
real
was
quick
Well, actually, the way
for
it turned
me.
out to me, it was $41
Really?
because it was 57. It was $57, and in a way, it came out was 16. It wound up going at 16 something. So it was like, you know, yeah,
Wow.
wow, that's a lot of money. 41
That's
bucks.
yeah. That's definitely.
Yep.
I mean, it is bad enough. These larger items are a pain to pack themselves. They're time consuming,
Yeah.
and then you're using a lot of materials. Like you gotta think, how big of a piece of cardboard do I got to use to cover up a cardboard cutout? I mean, regardless, it was folded in half, but that's a big sheet of cardboard I'm using to cover that, and a lot of tape. And I mean, it I think I had to clear my whole dining room table, and that's where I packed it because that thing was so big. I had
Wow.
to do it all right there on my dining room table. Yeah, I'm not finding it. I don't know why. I'll probably find it at some point, and I'll have to post it. But it was a crazy difference, and I just can't remember what it was. But here's another story. Here's like a story I found on the news on Google. So the exercise company Peloton announced they're going to charge new subscribers a one-time $95 activation fee if the equipment they bought was used on a secondary market. Like if they bought it,
Really?
yeah, if they bought it like off of one of us, like a reseller, that buyer's now gonna have to pay a $95 activation fee. Isn't that crazy?
That is absolutely nuts.
Yep. I mean, stuff like that really deeply impacts our reselling. Like, how can you? Why would you even want to sell their product now? Why would you even want to buy their product, knowing that even if say if I bought it for myself, I didn't want to use the product anymore, but I'm going to pass it down to somebody else. Now they got to pay $95, and I'm confused. How does that work? Do they? I guess maybe because of the account.
It has to be. It has to be
Like
because
you
of the
log
account.
in,
Well, you can have my account along with it then.
Yeah, I think that's what people are going to start doing and remove their credit card information somehow.
Yeah.
I guess that would be the only way around it. But
And you talk about Peloton losing weight. We should start a weight loss challenge.
yeah, I know I need to.
We're going to start next week. Listen, it's the Junk Jaw Reseller Podcast Weight Loss Challenge.
Yeah, gonna have a weigh in every week, not just on our shipping scales.
My shipping scale said way too big.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well,
I'm going for it though. I'm going to lose some weight.
I definitely need to. It's something I'll start. I feel like once a year, and I just get knocked off track somewhere. Whether it's like something, we're talking, life happens and things get in the
Yeah.
way, and I know that sounds like I'm making excuses, but and also part of it, I've been on a heavier side my whole entire life, and it's just something I've dealt with. I mean, it's almost kind of feels like it's never going to change, and you kind of get in that mode. But I need to make something change. It's not just going to happen on its own.
Yeah. I felt like I was talking before us, so like 3 years ago. I was like 207 pounds, floating between, and I like that weight. I like now. I was like, man, but I quit. I used to smoke. I quit smoking. I gained a bunch of weight, so it's like, oh man, I'm gonna get right back where I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy at that 200 pounds. I was 75 pounds lighter.
Well, it's probably all like the stress, like you kind of like replaced it
Yeah.
with that instead. I mean, I think sometimes it's kind of it's kind of easy to get stressed with what we do, even though it sounds easy, like it would be a less stressful job, but it's not really, because we're the ones in full control of how much we make, like however much work we put in is how much we bring in. Um, so it in that sense it can be stressful. Or are we going to get enough inventory? Which I don't I don't know. Or if I'm see my happy place is going to flea market yard sales. If I can't do that and relieve some of that stress by going there and doing that, then that doesn't help either.
Right. You talking about stress. Yeah, mine's like I always have this big thing like, am I gonna have enough stuff? Like, I think that's what causes me to have like just collect everything in the world.
Yeah. Oh, so here it is. I finally found it. I found the post about the cardboard cutout, and I shipped it. All right. So an extra inch on any direction would have made the cost go from $24 to $160 to $180.
Oh
That
my!
it wasn't
What?
$20-$30. It was insane. That should definitely not be allowed.
What? Yeah, think about that. That's ridiculous.
And I remember going to the post office, and I'm like, and I'm dropping it off. I'm like, hey, so this order, I'm explaining to them, 1 inch is going to raise the price dramatically. So can I want to make sure it's up to your standards. Can you please, please, please measure this? Can you double check? And she was like giving me a hard time. She's like, well, you measure it at home. I'm like, yeah, but I'm asking for you to double
Yeah,
check me.
right. A
And she was
recheck.
still giving me a hard time. Like she didn't understand. And I'm like, look, and she's like, well, you bought the label at home. You're covered. I'm like, no, I'm not. They don't understand sometimes at the post office of what we actually go through in a sense. And that's, so, I mean, let's put it, that was stressful till that got delivered. It was
Yeah.
like, I mean, a jump in price like that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, that's astronomical. I mean, you ain't telling me that 1 inch is worth over $100 in that case?
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
No,
There's no way.
I don't know why. It's just, and I remember like, because I know it was 2 inches thick, but then I don't know what the other dimensions were. But whatever I put on there was all. See, this thing too. So when I do calculators, sometimes I judge it and then I'll measure it, and sometimes I have measured wrong by accident, or I just type in, like, I'm so quick moving, I type in the wrong thing,
Mhm.
and I don't know if that was the case or whatever it was. So it was slightly off to begin with. So I was already eating a little bit of money. It was like maybe probably about $4 or $5, something like that. I'm like, whatever, it's a larger price item. I'll just eat that. That's fine. I'll take that out of my own pocket. But nobody can simply afford the dramatic
No,
increase if you do 1 inch, 1 inch extra. I just
that's crazy. I don't mind. Hadn't if I had to eat a little bit, just to, and I've done this in the past, knowing that I have an item and it doesn't sell as quickly as the other items, but I have to be, somewhat comparable, but maybe even better. And if I have to take that shipping and knowing I have to pay an extra dollar or something,
mm,
I'll take it off of the shipping cost and maybe, and somehow adjust my price to where it's, kind of like even or less than, so I could sell my item a little bit
yeah,
quicker.
yeah,
So it's a little bit of playground there, and I don't mind. I don't
yeah.
mind.
But so, but in the end, okay. So this is just my thought process when, because this is how I shop on eBay. Um, I always hit price lowest, and then because it does price lowest plus the shipping price. I'll sort by that, and that's what I'm looking at if I'm trying to get the best deal. So, regardless, does shipping really matter that much? Because you know what I mean. Like, I mean, unless you're completely under that lowest price, are you really going to get the sale
Well, it's
based on
happened.
price?
It's so the reason why I do it is because it's happened for me. So I mean, if I thought it didn't, or I'll keep you know in the back of my head if that's doesn't work, then I wouldn't do it. But I have done it before to make it kind of work.
Yeah, I mean, I
So
get it.
I've seen,
Yeah, I get it. You're trying to be competitive in that matter,
yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, at that point, just be to me. That's where I come in. I'd rather be competitive in the pricing because that's
Well, I'll do that in video games too. So in video
yeah.
games, I'll raise the shipping, but I'll undercut the price of the game,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be more likely to buy my game and pay that extra shipping because it looks in the beginning sometimes not a lot of that's just the way it's worked
Yeah.
for me.
No, I get that. That's actually no. That's pretty smart to do it that way. Um, I don't think I've ever necessarily done it that way, but I mean, I I don't know. I think I'm just stuck on calculate just because it's to me it's the most simplest in my mind that I just plug it in, and most of the time I'm not going to lose on that. Like I said, I might lose some sales, but I don't even know about those sales based on shipping. And if somebody confronts me, I'm not going to know about it unless somebody confronts me. Hey, your shipping price is high, and I might double check it. Sometimes I like, well, it's calculated. I don't really have control. I mean, and most of the time it is accurate. It's just every now and then for some reason there's like a glitch or something going on with the calculated to where it's off. Um,
So
and
let me ask you: when you have, say, you're selling a video game, it's
mhm.
most times it's like 6.5 ounces or whatever to get out the door, so it's going to fall under 8 ounce shipping rate. What does your buyer pay for calculated shipping
What does
normally
it pay?
on average?
I can't think off the top of my head. Um, I can check real quick, but
Yeah, I'm just
let's,
curious. I'm curious to find out, and I'm curious to see if what I do is
yeah.
there's the reason why I do what I do. I
So
just want,
let's see. Let's see what video games I sold. I mean, I sold a couple, but I don't think. Let me see. I gotta scroll down. Like I said, I don't. I know I don't sell video games on a scale like you do. Okay, here we go. Game Party in Motion, Xbox 360, sealed. Let's see. What did they pay for ground advantage shipping? They paid $4.43 to have it shipped to uh have it shipped to Missouri.
Okay, so you're right. So when you're doing yours, you're right on even, like because I found it in the past that when I did calculated shipping, they've always wind up paying a little bit more than what the shipping rate was.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well. That's because I passed down my. This is another thing too. You can choose. Remember, you could choose to pass down your discount.
yeah. You
Now,
choose to pass
now,
that.
now, I think because now I believe you have to anyway. So it didn't really affect me anyway. But I try to do that to stay competitive because
Yeah,
I mean,
because if you don't, you don't.
yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Because back in the past, that's what I used to do to stay competitive. Because I could charge you $4.49, before the shipping, $4.49 or whatever, $3.99. It matters what time a year it was before they implemented the rate hike. But now I usually charge $4.79.
okay,
So you're actually really getting, it's cheaper for the customer there than me.
yeah, and like I said, I was already doing the like passing that down the discounts, so that never really affected me because I mean I figured my prices I try to average price it, like I try to figure out the average. I don't go, I'm not the highest, I'm not the lowest, but considering that, then I can pass it on a little bit, to discount, and it's not really affecting me too much, or you know what I mean. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody has
But yeah, the only other way is like because most of my if I charge $4.79, I'm going to say 50% of my sales um, go anywhere between like $4.11 to $4.49. That 30% extra that has left over, it pays for my 30%, my 30 cent fee for everything you sell. You
okay.
spend
Yeah,
30. So that kind of evens me out right there. That's kind of the way I look at it.
yeah. No, I get that.
But I've been doing that ever since I've ever been selling eBay.
Hmm.
From when I've sold 20 items a day to selling, you know,
Yeah.
5 items a day or whatever it may be. You know.
One thing that helps too is if there's like a lot of a certain product that you sell all the time, you consistently buy it and sell it, that just that particular type of item. Like for instance, when I sell a lot of baseballs all the time, whether they're signed or they're souvenir balls or something like that. Um, I know for a fact that I can get them down to 8 ounces, which a lot of people, if they're putting them in the same size box that I have, they're actually 9 ounces. But I can get them down to 8 ounces because of the exact box I buy now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a thinner cardboard, but it still holds up. And I know that I've never had any issues with it or anything. So I know it's going to arrive safely. And because of that, it saves my buyers, a little bit of money because that 1 ounce difference, because it jumps in price from 8 ounces to nine.
Right. That's cool.
So, yep. I I don't know how it because I used to use the thicker cardboard boxes, and then I started realizing, I think around the pandemic, like 2020, and I'm like, wait a minute, like these boxes are cheaper. You know, I should just use them.
So do you buy all? Let me. Here's another question. Do you buy all your boxes, or do you make how often do you make your own kind of boxes, or do you just buy everything, or do you use
Um,
used boxes?
so I buy, I'd say 90% of my boxes. I
Mm,
buy them. I usually go on Amazon, and I do the eBay boxes you get from with your store subscription. But I mean, I will use other boxes. Like say if I order something from Amazon, or I got a box somewhere else or something, whatever. Sometimes my wife will bring me home some stuff. My dad, he's brought boxes for me or whatever. Or if I don't know, if I just come across a box and I need it or whatever, I'll take it. I mean, most of the time the boxes I like to keep are going to be the larger ones that you just can't, and I'm saying large for me is anything over Probably because my average box, like the biggest size box I most time use is probably like a 12 by 6 by 6. Boxes bigger than that, I might do like I think eBay has them. I get them, or I'm just about running out. But it's like the 12 by 12 by 8, and I'll use them sometimes. But I don't use them as often. I honestly, more often than not, I don't. How I do use them, I cut them down, and for my flat items, I'm able to fold the flaps in. So I cut each corner, like corner edge, whatever, and so I get this big flap, and I'm able to just fold it in, and then put it in like a bubble mailer or a poly mailer. And I'm saying like flat items like magazines or like
Yeah.
signed autograph photos or something like that. Um, and but I can do that with the bigger, the larger boxes I can get for free, or I come across stuff all the time too, and that's what I used to do. But sometimes I like the productivity, like the time it takes to cut down this box is much shorter than some random box that I don't usually carry.
Right. Well, I most time to be honest, I've only bought boxes really one time ever,
Mm-hmm.
and I use my own. I use boxes that I get from Amazon or from wherever.
Yeah.
I just got random boxes laying around. If I need to make a box, I'll make a box. It doesn't take me
Mm-hmm.
no time to really cut a box down and
Yeah.
make a box and then I'll put it in a poly mailer. Just say if the box looks a little ugly, don't matter, and then a poly mailer pretties it all up, and
Mm-hmm.
when they open it up, at least the item is like heavily protected. That's all I care about. But I tell you what is real beautiful is when you go in on a Monday and you get all your stuff out and you look at the boxes, and every box that you have that's sitting to the side, it perfectly fits everything that you have, and you don't have to
That
worry about cutting anything down. You don't have to worry about it's
that never happens to me anymore because I think I just have too many different items.
yeah.
I mean, I shipped out. What did I ship out yesterday? I had a pair of baseball cleats I shipped out. I had the 12 by 12 by 8 box, but I cut it down, so I still had to cut it down and fold it in. And I had another box. I had a McFarlane figure. I think I used the same box because it was still better to me using one of those boxes. Sometimes I would take two 12 by 6 boxes, put them together to make one box. But then at that point, I'm using two boxes.
Yeah, you use two
So I'd
boxes.
rather, I'd rather cut it down and use one box than use two boxes. So that's what I did with that one because it comes out to pretty much almost the same dimensions. Um,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's pretty much
Yeah.
almost
Well, yesterday, like you said, was a terrible day. I had to make one for everything.
really.
Everything. I did
Oh
not
no!
one single box work perfect at all yesterday.
Out of how many?
Uh, well, I shipped I think 11 or 12 yesterday, and I had six I needed boxes for, and I had to cut something from a box for all six of them. Yep.
Jeez.
Nothing was the right size. No, I'm lying. I'm sorry. I had a pair of Iowa headphones from the 1990s that I had a little like T-Mix box
Wait,
that I
you
was
said
able to
you said Iowa, like the state? Uh,
AIWA,
I thought you said
not I
Iowa,
not
like
not Iowa, Iowa.
Iowa. Okay.
Yeah, they had a little like a I don't know, it was like a mint box or something about yay big, and it just fit right in there. And I taped it up, international sale, and it went. It fell under 4 ounces.
Wow.
I loved it. It was like because
Yeah.
the box was thin but yet strong.
Yeah. I ship a lot of now there are some action figures that I ship in bubble mailers. Um Now, not going back to the one that was, that I was having an argument with the Depop buyer. With that one was just much larger. Larger. It wasn't going to ship in a bubble mailer or anything like that. But I ship. There's a lot of action figures. I'll just wrap in. I'll put it in a bag and then I'll wrap it in cardboard and then I put it in bubble mailer. And that, a lot of times the cart it's just scraps. It's like because I cut down like we talked
Yeah.
about, we cut down boxes. Then you
Yep.
got these scraps left over, and I love that. Whether I'll have pins like I think I don't even know. I'm trying to find or keychains. Here, I got a keychain, a Disney keychain, like something like this. I'll just wrap it in cardboard, and then I'll tape it up, and then throw it in a bubble mailer, and I'm done. It
Yeah,
takes 2 seconds.
that's perfect. It does.
You know.
Like I will a lot of times I'll take I'll cut a piece of bubble bubble wrap off, wrap it a little bit real quick. But any scrap cardboard piece you got,
Mm.
I'll take it and I'll just roll the cardboard
Yep.
piece to fit it around it, roll it, make sure it's not like
Yep.
overdone, and cut it off, and then just put a piece of tape around it and shove it right in a bubble mailer.
Yep.
It's perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean,
And a
it's
lot of people, you don't have to pretty it up. You don't have to
no.
really pretty, use a whole box and use this and use that. Especially if you only sold like a $14.99 figure, it's perfectly covered if you just put it in like bubble wrap and in
Mm-hmm.
cardboard and shove it in a bubble mailer. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I mean, it just, I think it depends on the item too. Like, it just depends on the exact item. I mean,
Yeah,
there could
it
be some
does.
figures that you ship out and they're older, a little more fragile, just in general. So you just have to be mindful of the item that you're shipping out at the end of the day.
Yeah, you do. I mean, but I
Like
tell you, like,
those you probably aren't going to put in a bubble mailer.
well, it matters which, like this figure.
Yeah.
He's probably like $9.99,
But
$12.99, and he'll go in an 8 ounce rate. I don't know. It matters. I'll rub bubble wrap around it and then make a piece of cardboard and put it right in the
I'll
bubble.
I'll have to send you a link to those boxes I use for the baseballs because they
Mm-hmm.
fit figures really good too. And so
Oh, really?
when I've had figures that were um probably right around the same size as that and on there, but they're like a little higher dollar. They're like even if they're like 30 bucks or something like that. I don't want to put in a bubble mailer sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends on the shape of the figure too, because sometimes the shape it makes it harder to get in a bubble mailer. It's just easier putting in a box. Um, but they're really good for that, and you can get a lot of things in these boxes, just because the size of them, and it's very thin cardboard, like lightweight. It still holds up good, but I've shipped stuff out like figures in them, and it's only 4 ounces, easy. Like
Yeah, I like it when it's only 4 ounces.
yeah,
That's perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some figures are going to be over 4 ounces. I think
Yeah.
most figures range between 4 and 8 ounces
Yeah.
on average. And that's what I think a lot of people don't understand. So that one figure, like I said, that would show it shows how big of that figure was if it was 1 pound 1 ounce with the box, but because it was on the larger side, so it was probably more like a nine. I don't know, maybe like a nine ounce figure or something like that. And so there's no way once I put that in a box, there's no way that's going to be shipped under a pound. Once I put bubble wrap or anything like that in it, and
Mm-hmm.
I think by the time I did that, I think it was like 9 or 10 ounces anyway, like as the figure alone. And I don't even know if I don't think I have it right here, but I think I finally put it away.
Yeah. So
Remember?
basically, what we're saying is like you don't you don't have to pack it too heavy. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
lot of these things. It's sufficiently packed if you just put some bubble wrap and some
yeah.
cardboard on it, put it in a bubble mailer. That's
Mm-hmm.
sufficiently packed. I mean, just use common sense a little bit. If you have $100 figure,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Now,
not do
now,
that.
now, I do this a lot. I'm going to ask you: do you use painter's tape at all when you're shipping items?
um, Baseball cards.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I think I find myself using this stuff a lot more than what I used to. It used to be just with baseball cards, but now, um, like maybe there's certain things like I don't want regular tape taking a chance of sticking to it, or like whether it's like maybe a magazine or like something I feel like regular tape can mess it up. Even like a baseball sometimes I don't well I put that in a bag, but I don't want to take a chance that if any part of that tape touches anything. So I think a lot of times I've been using this painter's tape because it's not going to mess up the item
Yeah, I
at
mean
all.
that's a good idea. But like when you talk about bags, like if I have a magazine or anything,
Hmm.
I'll always bag it. So I'll
Yeah.
bag it, and then when I ship it off, I'll sandwich between two pieces of
Uh huh.
cardboard, and I'll tape the edges around from the cardboard to pinch them together. So that's why I put it in a bag so it doesn't touch the actual product.
Yeah,
Um, but I mean, a painter tape is good. I've seen other people use it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes it doesn't stick as good as I like, but I mean,
yeah.
is what is.
But it does. You know, you watch out for the product.
Talking about like certain things, like we were just talking about the magazines and all. Now I had a positive. It's like they left me a positive feedback, but the feedback said so it was on a comic book. They said that they were up like disappointed basically that I didn't use a backer board. Do you use backer boards for all your comics?
Um, well, if they're single comics, I always use a board and bags. If
Mm-hmm.
they're a set like I just listed some today, like the new adventures of something or another, and there's 10 comics in a lot. I'm not going to bag those. I'm just going to bag them together, and then I'm going to send them out in a box because I'm not going to put bags and boards on every comic because they become
Now,
expensive.
now your your comic books though, when like if you're just selling one, how do you ship it?
I will
How do
ship
you
it
pack it?
bag and board, and then sandwich it between two pieces of cardboard, and then put it in a bigger bubble mailer.
Okay. See, I used to do that. Now I end up taking just one piece of cardboard and I'll basically take that painter's tape and stick it to the side of that cardboard and then I put it in a rigid mailer.
Mm.
And so I'm using a little less and it's a little less time because I'm only and plus because I'm only using one sheet of cardboard inside that rigid mailer.
Mm.
Um, so I do like using them and it's not bending, it's not going anywhere once it's in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, either way, I think
But
it
that's
works.
but that's what I did, and I'm like, dude, it got there okay. Like I'm sure. Like, what do you
Yeah,
mean you're upset because I didn't include something that costs more money? I mean, I
right.
for my cards, I don't even for my sports cards or trading cards and all. I there's a lot of sellers out there that don't use top loaders when they ship
Yep.
them out, but I always do, and that's a lot of people don't understand that it costs me money to use them, but I'm trying to ensure no matter what that you're getting it safely and I feel better. Especially even if it's just a cheap card. If it's a really cheap card, like $1.50, $2 card, I don't care. I take that card, put it in a top layer with the blue painter's tape on it. Then I wrap it in 3 sheets of paper, just regular copy paper, and I throw it in an envelope.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like that's all I need. I don't even put do not bend stickers on there anymore. I used to.
No, I don't. I don't either.
Yeah,
But
I
I
used
mean,
to. But
in
that's
all actuality, that's what you want. I mean, just that's
yeah,
yeah, I have to put it at the top loader.
yeah. But I mean, I think there's some cases that you don't, but because I've seen it. I mean, it's just I think it's up to the seller, but don't expect like great feedback every single time because you're gonna have issues. At least I know at the end of the day that the likelihood of my card arriving there safe is very probable. But
Yeah, it's exponentially greater.
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I've seen. I'm trying to think. I've seen some people on eBay still use they don't even use the and I'm saying this is when you're using a trading card uh shipping like that they have on there.
Yeah, the option for the
Yeah, there's so many people that don't even have that as an option. I'm like, why?
yeah. I had to go over one of my old listings, and for some reason I was still charging like regular rate for shipping,
Yeah,
and it was on like a $8 card, and
yeah,
I changed it, and then I wound up selling the $8 card.
yeah. Because I mean, it's only 69 cents or whatever it is
Yeah,
for
yeah, 69 to 80 or 91 or whatever. It
yeah,
goes from
yeah,
1 ounce to 3 ounces. So
yeah.
yeah,
I had I did have one order on Macari recently. I think it was a couple of days ago. I was so mad because I've been shipping out all my cards through that like trading card, and a lot of people don't know. Not just eBay has the trading card shipping, but Macari has that now too.
oh,
And
do they?
yeah, and so I I don't know if I guess I just never updated it, but I packed it up in the envelope, the regular standard envelope, and I went to print the label, and it's a ground shipping label. I'm like, no.
Oh no.
So I had to repack it and everything, like how I normally would. Because now if somebody's paying that much for shipping, for ground shipping, I don't care. It has to go between piece of cardboard and into a bubble
Yes.
mailer, just because that's the extra that they paid for. I don't, that's just how it is.
That's
It
how
is
it
what
is. That's it. Yeah.
that's a service that if you're paying ground shipping for a card, dude, you should never get it in an
Never.
regular flat
No.
white envelope.
Not if you're paying ground shipping. No, you need to treat that as a,
Now
you know, premium.
there's people that do that, and then they for a long time they would just ship out card, like they would charge a regular first class rate, a long time ago, and then they just ship it out an envelope and wouldn't even do tracking with it. And I'm like, how
Yeah,
can you
they
not do
would.
that?
And just ship it out. It's
Yeah,
happened to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Heck,
It's
even
happened to me.
those baseball cleats I was telling you about. I don't even remember. I think I had them because I never switched. I never added on ground shipping to them. So this just show how old that listing was. I never added ground shipping on that USPS ground, and they bought it with priority mail. I'm like thinking, how much cheaper shipping could have been,
Yep.
you know? But
Yep.
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean they
It really
bought
is.
it, but at the end of the day, could I have sold it for more if I had the shipping price cheaper? You know,
Quite possible.
so because that plays a factor into it.
It does. Yeah,
Priority mail is not really.
anytime the buyer has to put out extra money, it always plays a
Yeah,
factor in what you do.
priority mail is not really even needed anymore most of the time.
It isn't.
It's got.
I don't remember the last time I used priority mail.
Yeah,
Maybe if there was something that was heavy enough that, you know, can go into the fit all boxes,
mm-hmm.
you know,
I
that's a different story.
I think I use priority mail more. I find myself use priority mail obviously because of Poshmark, but also on Macari, I don't understand why they don't have USPS ground on there over a pound. So once you hit anything that's over a pound, it has to go priority mail or UPS or FedEx. And I
Yep.
usually end up doing FedEx because that seems to be usually the cheapest option. Like I think it's usually cheaper by like $1 or something like that compared to USPS. So I'm like, well, I guess it's gonna go FedEx. It is what it is.
It is what, yeah, it is what it is. I mean,
I mean,
you got to take a look at it.
you got to keep that in mind when you want to make the sale. Like the
Yeah.
shipping price does factor into it, and even though I do calculate it on eBay, I do try to keep that in mind when I'm listing things on Macari or Depop or
Right.
Poshmark. I don't have a choice, but
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah. That's cool though. I
yeah,
know we're coming to the end of this one today.
oh yeah,
Well, this is going to be our episode number 3.
number 3.
Yeah. So you want to tell them where you can find yourself at?
Yep. So I go by Triple R Collections on eBay, Macari, Poshmark, Depop, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you want to look for me at.
Yep. Well, you can find me at the Flea Market TV on eBay. I'm going to be starting my YouTube channel this week. So look at it. It's going to be, I'm going to try to get under the Flea Market TV. You can check me out. And
Yeah.
until next episode, thank you for coming all the way.
Yep.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you very
Yep.
much, guys.
See
Until
you guys
next time.
next week.
Bye.